As a result, he grilled freshly caught fishes for them. When everyone took a bite, they couldn't believe that Yu-Hu was a spirit master instead of a top-class chef. Everyone was praising him, and Mrs. Kai also told him to eat after completing his work. Yu-Hu agreed, however. He noticed that Chu was sitting far away on the bank of the river. He took a grilled fish with him and went to her to offer the food. Yu-Hu offered her a fish while she was lost in thoughts. Chu looked at him and asked whether his little girlfriend would be okay with him offering her fish. He replied confusedly that it won't be an issue. However, when he looked into her eyes for a moment, he was dumbstruck by the familiarity. He asked her whether they had met before somewhere. She told him that it was their third encounter and that he should head back before his girlfriend got pissed. He was sure that she was hiding something, but he couldn't find anything and left her alone. When he went back, as expected, Dong was angry at him for talking to Chu and ignored him. He didn't have any idea where he went wrong, but he bribed her by offering a specially seasoned grilled fish to her. She immediately accepted the fish like a small child and also asked whether he was afraid of disclosing his special ingredient. He replied flirtatiously that it was only available for her because it was known as love. Dong shyly turned her head and told him to eat too. However, his food already turned cold and was pestering him, but he didn't have any choice. After a rest, everyone continued their journey and went deeper into the forest. After some time, the sky started to turn darker. Zheng told everyone to stay on their guard, as a spirit beast could attack them at any moment. She also told the first and second in command to be more alert than anyone else. While they were going deeper into the woods, Yu-Hu asked Dong to hold his hand. As a result, they fused their energy, and Yu-Hu used his mental instruction spirit technique. Everyone, including Zheng, was amazed by his spirit technique but was also concerned whether it was tiresome. Yu-Hu replied that it wouldn't cause any issues if he didn't expand its range. She was pleased by his answer and made him the first in command instead. As expected, due to his technique, Yu-Hu and others soon detected a presence of a spirit beast in the surroundings. Upon further confirmation, there was a 10,000-year-old Jade Ocean spirit ape around 200 meters away. Zheng told everyone to hide and not act rashly. Chu was annoyed by the presence of that ape beast because it had 10,000 years of cultivation and probably was adept at poison. However, she was still interested in its spirit ring. Zheng told Yu-Hu, Dong, and Chu to form a team and attack the beast while she and Ruo would support them from behind. They didn't think that the three of them would be paired to defeat a beast. However, Dong saw it as a chance to show her strength to Chu. Thus, they attacked the beast. Yu-Hu used his soul essence attack, while the beast used its poisonous fog attack. Yu-Hu quickly cancelled its attack to defend against its poison. Seizing the opportunity, Dong attacked the beast with Butterfly Lord rays, but it managed to defend against it and unleashed one of the most powerful poisonous fogs, which enveloped the area. Meanwhile, Chu didn't hesitate and rushed right into the fog around the beast. She brought forward her golden fist and ordered it to dissipate. Amazingly, the fog disappeared immediately. Even the beast was shocked by her attack. After witnessing such a destructive blow by her, the beast quickly tried to run away. Chu started to chase after it, but Dong told her not to chase it because she had already placed her hexagram array in the beast's way. As soon as the beast entered the hexagon domain, it lost a tremendous amount of spirit power in an instant. However, it wasn't enough to completely make it unable to fight. The beast tried one last time to break free and attack Dong. Yu-Hu used his mental weakness technique on it to weaken its strength, while Dong attacked it with guillotine wings. Those two simultaneous attacks made the beast fall directly into Dong's hexagram array. The array completely depleted the beast's energy and made it lose the ability to fight. After the defeat of the beast, Zheng told Mo Xuan to absorb the beast, as he wanted its ring, and also ordered everyone else to guard him. After that, Zheng went toward Yu-Hu and criticized him for his unprofessional behavior toward the team. She said that except for Dong, he didn't concern himself with his team, especially Chiu. Dong sarcastically said that what could they have done if they didn't even know about Chiu's abilities. Zheng scolded her, saying that if everyone started to think like her, then the team would surely crumble down. Before Dong could say anything, Yu-Hu held her hand to stop her from arguing and asked Zheng to forgive them. Zheng then went to Chiu and also scolded her for cowering behind her teammates earlier when Yu-Hu and Dong stepped forward. Zheng told her that she wasn't sure if she would make it into the inner academy with such an attitude. Her words made Chiu lose her mind. Her anger skyrocketed, and she told Zheng that she had no authority to determine whether she was qualified for the inner academy or not, and if Zheng was too scared about their team's failure, then she should make her first in command instead. While everyone was shocked by Chiu opposing the elder senior sister, Zheng laughed bitterly and told her that she definitely had the authority to remove her name from the inner academy enrollment form, as she was a member of Poseidon's Pavilion. She said that Chiu could challenge her after the operation if she had any issues with her, but for the time being she would be the leader anyway. Jung gave her one last chance to cooperate with the team willingly so that everyone's safety could be assured. Chiu took a deep breath and eventually agreed to follow her orders. She was then assigned to cooperate with Yu-Hu in the operation. Meanwhile, Yu-Hu was still thinking about the seemingly mediocre golden punch of Chiu, which completely vanished the fog screen of the ape beast. He then corrected himself and said that it wasn't just a mediocre punch, because he realized that in the moment she punched, he saw a glimpse of a golden dragon around her. He also heard the vague sound of a dragon roar in that moment, which was also the reason why the ape fell directly into Dong's hexagram array. He was sure that her mental power was absolutely formidable, or at least her spiritual power-gathering ability wasn't worse than his. Everyone continued to move forward, driving off some spirit beasts which weren't interesting to them. As they traveled, they grew nearer to the core of the forest, which was definitely the most ominous area, crawling with dangerous spirit beasts. Soon, the pitch darkness of the night surrounded the area. They decided to set up camp nearby to sleep over the night. Zheng and Ruo kept watch most of the time, while Yu-Hu and Chiu watched over for the rest of the time. While Yu-Hu and Chiu were guarding, Yu-Hu shared his mental institution technique with her, which surprised her a bit. She claimed that it was a useful skill to have in such situations. By looking at her face from close, Yu-Hu was surprised that her beauty was on par with Dong's. At times, it was easy to get confused whether she was Dong or Chiu. He then offered baked bread to her. When she asked him whether he made it himself, he replied that Dong was a very picky eater. Therefore, he bought it from the academy's canteen and added fresh meat into it. Chiu was somehow impressed that he cared so much. She then held the bread in her hands and used her spirit technique to warm it up, and then gave it to Yu-Hu. He was surprised and happy to see that the bread looked like it came back to life. He told her to warm up their ration so they didn't have to eat it cold. However, she denied and said that it was only a one-time thing, as compensation for the grilled fish he gave her. Yu-Hu smiled at her answer, and said that she didn't have to keep him at arm's length because they were all teammates after all. She asked why she was feeling a sense of hostility from Dong when talking to him. He got confused and said that it might be possible because of their similar looks, and that's why Dong was suspicious of her. He assured her that time would prove everything eventually. However, she replied that she didn't have to prove anything to anyone. Yu-Hu said that it wasn't a good attitude, and she should try to fit in. She got mad and said that ever since she left home, she hadn't met a single person who didn't have ulterior motives. Thus, there wasn't a reason for her to fit in with the people. Yu-Hu consoled her that it was only because she was beautiful, and that was the negative outcome of being beautiful. He guaranteed that no one would mistreat her in the academy if she believed in them. However, she ignored what he said and continued to eat the bread. She then took a bite of the bread, but as the bread had no meat or flavoring, she threw it on the ground because she didn't like it. When the bread fell on the ground, Yu-Hu immediately went to pick it up and also gave her a dangerous side look. She felt a sense of hate and asked whether he wanted to fight. But Yu-Hu replied that if they were somewhere else, then he would have fought. But as they were in the middle of the forest, he restrained his emotions. He asked her whether she knew the value of such bread, which could save someone's life, and whether she never experienced hunger. She replied that powerful people would never die of hunger, thus she didn't care. He again asked whether one was powerful from the day he was born. He said that the most powerful and important people when one was born were the parents. She sighed and asked how he was so sure that she was born powerful. She told him to not get pissed over a piece of lousy bread. He took a bite of the bread and said that it was a piece of bread to others, but to him it was an opportunity to survive. While he took a bite of the bread, he got emotional and tears fell down from his eyes. Chiu was shocked to see him crying just over a piece of bread. She asked him what was wrong with him and why he took a bite from the bread she bit before. He said that he wasn't crying over the bread but remembering his mum. He said that when he was only 5 years old, his only family member was his mum. They were extremely poor, and his mum had to raise him on just her meager salary. She usually worked overtime to provide food for both of them. He said that one night after working late, his mum rushed home with a big smile on her face, which was rare to see. The cause of that smile was the freshly baked bread given to her by the chef of the bakery where she worked. When the chef gave her the bread, the thought of her son not having the bread elated her mind. Therefore, she stuffed the piping hot bread in her clothes to prevent it from getting cold. When she came back home, the area of her body where the bread touched was turned red by the heat of it. However, he was too young to understand anything but to nibble on that hot bread. He continued to cry even more and said how great it would have been if his mum was still alive, as now he had the ability to provide her food and protection. Listening to his sad story, Chiu came near him, snatched the bread from him, and quickly stuffed it all in her mouth. Yu-Hu was surprised that she ate the bread again. However, the tense atmosphere became pleasant when Chiu choked on that bread, and Yu-Hu gave her water to push it down. When she finally swallowed the bread, Yu-Hu asked her whether the meatless bread was as bad as she thought. Yu-Hu realized that she wasn't disrespectful to the bread, but was a picky eater and didn't want to eat the tasteless breadcrumbs. However, her reactions showed that she didn't enjoy it. When Yu-Hu asked her whether it was only related to the tasteless breadcrumbs, she said that she was referring to his saliva when she said that it tasted disgusting. Yu-Hu was ashamed to death when he realized that earlier they both bit from the same bread. He turned all red, as he thought that it was kind of flirtatious. After a while, they started to argue with each other again. Every word of hers pierced right through Yu-Hu's heart when she said that there wasn't anything more pathetic than a grown man afraid of women and crying like a child. Although he said that he wasn't afraid, on the inside he tried to distance himself from Chiu before Dong misunderstood them. Suddenly, Yu-Hu became attentive and shared his mental instructions with everyone. Everyone immediately raised their guard because through his mental instructions, they saw a bunch of spirit beasts slightly ahead of them. They asked each other whether they should retreat or fight, as the spirits hadn't found them yet. However, Yu-Hu paid close attention to the beasts' formation and noticed that they were regrouping and encircling them. He told everyone that they had already been discovered, and there was no choice except fighting them. Zheng told everyone to give their best, as those beasts weren't like the others they fought. She told Mo Xuan to activate his halo too. When the spirit beasts came closer to them, they saw that those were the blood-red baboons who were exceptionally strong in terms of strength, and moreover, they also had an innate bloodline trait called the bloodthirst. It was the technique that allowed them to raise their strengths and powers many times. As soon as the group of baboons attacked them, everyone used their special techniques to defend themselves. Yu-Hu noticed that when Zheng unleashed her spirit ring, the baboons hesitated for a moment, but suddenly the king of blood-red baboons came forth, who had the cultivation worth 50,000 years. The king and the others used the bloodthirst technique together and rushed toward Zheng and the others in a form of group rage. Zheng warned everyone to watch out, because the group rage was an even more dangerous attack. She used her moon spirit technique to hit some of the baboons, but as the numbers were too much, some baboons managed to get closer to her. However, Ruo used her golden ropes to pull her back. The same happened with Yu-Hu too, when he used his purple demon eye to paralyze one baboon, but the others attacked from behind, but somehow he also managed to defend himself. Dong used her butterfly rays technique to attack the baboons, but again one of them got dangerously closer to her. The situation for her wasn't the same as Zheng and Yu-Hu, and it was certain that she would receive a critical blow from the baboon. However, unexpectedly, Chiu suddenly appeared in front of her and bare-handedly punched against the baboon's punch. Meanwhile, Yu-Hu had no choice but to use his mental disturbance technique to make a baboon fight his own group. That made things easier around him. After his side was clear, he looked toward the others to ensure whether they were fine. Suddenly, he saw a baboon screaming from pain, and its arm joint was shattered. He was surprised to see that it was caused by Chiu's punch. Her single punch made the ground underneath the impact area crack. A baboon tried to attack her from her blind spot, but she remained calm and grabbed its finger. Yu-Hu was dumbstruck to see that Chiu was the same girl who snatched the bread from him when he saw her crushing the baboon's finger without breaking a sweat. After everyone managed to defend against the baboons fell back a little to regroup. All the baboons regrouped and suddenly went under a terrifying transformation. Nobody except Zheng realized that they were unleashing their bloodthirst technique. She was extremely shocked by the fact that the baboons could activate their innate technique in a group. Hence, she told Ruo to be on guard and not hold back anymore. When the baboons attacked, she activated her moon spirit technique with its full might and caused even the moon to brighten at its fullest. She unleashed all of her spirit rings, making even the bloodthirsty baboons tremble. She also called Ruo to use her 8th top spirit technique called Ascending Sky. With that technique, the entire area was surrounded with a golden aura from Ruo. She used her golden band technique to blow away half of the army in a few moments. The other half of the baboons were struck by the moon lightning bolts of Zheng. At the end, the white light diminished, and the baboons were seen falling from the sky. Everyone was stunned by witnessing the true power of Spirit Duluos. After defeating many strong beasts in a few moments, Zheng released her technique and regained her calm composure as if nothing ever happened. Even Chiu was surprised by her power and wondered whether she could have won against Zheng if they had fought earlier. Soon after, the Baboon King turned into the Spirit Ring. Zheng asked everyone whether anyone wanted the Baboon King with 50,000 years of cultivation. Yu-Hu stepped forward and asked for the ring. Despite the ring not being completely suitable for him, Zheng allowed him to have the ring because it was hard to find spirit rings with strong mental attributes. However, when Yu-Hu was about to absorb the ring, Chu stepped in front of Yu-Hu to stop him from absorbing it. Yu-Hu was shocked and asked why she was doing that. She said that it wasn't suitable for him, so he should let her take it instead. Everyone was confused by her actions because both Yu-Hu and Chu were in the same team, yet she was trying to snatch the ring from him. Dong angrily barged in and told Chiu to step aside from Yu's way. However, she didn't listen and refused to give up the ring. Dong got even more furious and asked her to fight her, and if she won, then they would allow her to absorb the ring for herself.